Hello and welcome to this video clip about the climate in the past. As you all know, climate is a hot topic these days. During our next history lesson, we will ask ourselves two important questions. First, what was the climate like in the past, especially during the Middle Ages? And second, what were the effects of climate change for people in the past? In order to answer these questions, let's go on a short journey through history. In antiquity, we can find numerous cases of climate change having a huge impact on societies. As you might remember from previous years of history classes, in 2200 BC, a period of extreme drought contributed to the collapse of the Old Kingdom in Egypt. But climate can also have favorable effects. For instance, the Romans benefited from a warm and stable climate, which was good for agriculture. The Roman Empire at its greatest extent under Trajan coincided with what is now called the Roman Warm Period, a period of unusually warm weather in Europe and the North Atlantic that ran from approximately 250 BC to 440 AD. The end of this favorable climate undermined Roman power just when the empire was threatened by enemies from without. This was the start of the Dark Ages cooling period, from the year 440 to 900 AD. In the early Middle Ages, the European climate was cold and wet, which was bad for agriculture. Due to crop failure and a lower yield, people were often confronted with food shortage and monotonous nutrition. That is why people had little resistance to diseases. From the 6th century onwards, there were regular outbreaks of plague epidemics, which caused thousands of victims. In 742, Charlemagne was born during the Dark Ages cool period, but this is just to help you situate the other events more easily. However, the Dark Ages cooling would not last forever, for already in 800, the Vikings reached Iceland, which can be seen as a run-up to the medieval warm period. Between 900 and 1300 AD, it became much warmer and drier. This period is called the Medieval Warm Period, abbreviated as MWP. As a consequence of the warmer climate, living conditions became much better. The agricultural yield increased. The invention of new tools and techniques in agriculture contributed to population growth. Cities became bigger and the economy grew. Other examples of effects of the medieval warm period include the Viking settlements in Greenland in 985 AD and in America in the year 1000 AD. The Vikings called this area along the Canadian coast Vinland. So you heard that right, Columbus was not the first European to set foot on American land. But in the 14th century, the climate took a turn for the worse, and it became much colder in Europe. Historians call this period the Little Ice Age, abbreviated as LIA, and it lasted from 1300 to 1850. Cold was not the only thing that came with the Little Ice Age. From 1300 onwards, it often stormed along European coasts, causing spring tide and floods. Summers were usually very wet and rivers burst their banks. There was also too much rain and not enough sunshine during summer, causing crop failures and famine. Cattle plague made it even worse. During the Little Ice Age, people were also confronted with the Black Death, a plague pandemic that occurred from 1346 to 1353. One third, yes, you heard that right, 33% of the entire European population died because of the plague. Other noticeable effects of the Little Ice Age were the Vikings abandoning Greenland in 1350, the freezing of the river Scheldt in our own country, and the freezing of the river Thames in England. Starting in 1608, Londoners even organized frost fairs on the ice of the river. And in 1658, the sea between Sweden and Denmark froze, and so a Swedish army marched across the ice to invade Denmark. In 1750, the Industrial Revolution started and population numbers increased rapidly. This was the prelude for the end of the Little Ice Age and the start of the modern warming. Although climate change is nothing new, the global warming we are experiencing today is different because it is caused by mankind and because the temperature increase is so much bigger. That was it. Don't forget to fill in the Google Forms questions below, and we'll see each other during class.